All right, so firstly, guys, I have no idea what Project 2025 is. We're about to find out what it is together if you guys do not know. Now, so here's the thing. A couple of you guys have sent this to me on Discord. Not this specific video. One of you guys have. I just picked at random because there's like literally 50 of you guys sending me the same topic type of thing. So I just picked one at random. But let's go ahead and check this video out, guys. Let's see what this is about. Let's jump into it. I can't read the rest of the title because YouTube does not like any of these words, guys. Let's jump into it. But I'm sure you guys can see it right now. But all right, let's get it. Let's check it out.
If you've been closely watching this show and this network, and even on social media, you've probably heard of Project 2025, sometimes also called the Presidential Transition Project.
Okay.
It's a 900-page policy document put together by a bunch of conservative interest groups as a guide for how a second Trump administration can weaponize the federal government in pursuit of a, frankly, frighteningly authoritarian vision.
All right.
It's also a wish list of a bunch of fringe far-right policy proposals that I think many voters would be really horrified to learn about. It seems like a lot of people are starting to pick up on the project and its proposals thanks to warnings like this one from host Taraji B. Henson at this week's BET Awards.
Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens. The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
According to some reports, the project actually began trending on Google immediately after those comments. But even with the new influx of attention, I still think the details of Project 2025 are undercovered relative to how absolutely unhinged they are, even by the standards of today's Republican Party. So,
all right, let's get into it.
First and foremost, there is this nakedly authoritarian plotting, like the plan to weaponize the Department of Justice as a tool directly under the control of Donald Trump. Quoting from the document itself, the DOJ falls under the direct supervision and control of the President of the United States as a component of the executive branch. Litigation decisions must be made consistent with the President's agenda.
What? Does it actually say that? It can't. It doesn't say that. Really?
By the way, Justice John Roberts just endorsed that in the 6th.
I don't care who the president is in this instance, but that's not an acceptable thing at all, right? Based off what we're encountering so far, at least, this is a crazy statement to make. You'll be penalized based on whatever president is in there, guys. The law is the law, guys. Right? No one's above it under any circumstance. Sorry, guys. Right? So. This whole statement is against everything that we are.
With the president's agenda. By the way, Justice John Roberts just endorsed that in the 6th immunity decision. So they've got carte blanche on that.
Okay.
What it means is that Donald Trump directs the Department of Justice. There is no independence. There's no firewall. He tells them what to do, who to prosecute, who to defend, and the like. And I think this portion of Project 2025, the authoritarian plots to purge the civil service, replace it all with MAGA loyalists, like deep down into the government, is getting most of the attention, and for good reason. But there's so much more to Project 2025, including, again, a whole bunch of fringe, hard-right culture war stuff. So, for instance, unsurprisingly, the document calls for a full-out, whole-of-government approach to the assault on reproductive rights on women. For conservatives to gratefully celebrate the greatest pro-family win in a generation, overturning Roe v. Wade. It includes an effective abortion ban by calling for the FDA, right? They're going to appoint people to the FDA who suddenly announce, oh, you can't have a medication. Reverse its approval of chemical drugs like mifepristone, which is used in the majority of all in this country. And again, in red and blue states where it is legal or not. And to be clear, there's no absolutely justification for this, right? Mifepristone has been used safely for decades. This is not a scientific determination. They're going to put some apparatchik into charge of FDA to do this. Project 2025 wants to take it away, citing in part the hundreds of thousands to millions of babies whose lives have been unjustly taken through chemical. The document goes further than FDA approval, calls on the Department of Justice to criminalize sending the pill through the mail under the Comstock Act, an archaic anti-obscenity law from the 19th century, which has been rendered largely unenforceable in subsequent decades. In addition to the pill, Project 2025 also wants to strip the mandate for free emergency contraception from Obamacare. And look, Republicans are not going to stop until they have all but eliminated access to reproductive health care in this country, full stop. They're also, not surprisingly, committed to stopping the enormous seismic green energy transition to doom us to the most catastrophic consequences of climate change. The document refers to attempts to mitigate climate change, to mitigate it as a radical climate policy. It calls for an end to the unprovoked war on fossil fuels.
Is the gas lobby paying you to say these things? Yes.
The government to oppose eyesore windmills built at taxpayer expense. Document also calls for all federal laws, grants, regulations, and contracts to delete every instance of the terms orientation and gender identity, diversity, equity, inclusion, gender equality, gender equity, gender awareness, gender sensitive, reproductive health, and reproductive rights. Saying they're
guys, God, this is bad, bro. This is
used to deprive Americans of their First Amendment rights. Reproductive health. It demands the Department of Health and Human Services immediately put an end to the department's foray into woke transgender activism. And get this, I don't think people know this, but people should be outlawed, and the people who produce and distribute it should be imprisoned. America 2024. Now, I promise you, I could go on like this for an entire hour.
Please.
I encourage you to read the document for yourself. Remarkably easy to find with a cursory search online.
Okay.
And that, of course, is because Republicans are incredibly proud of their little project. Listen to the project's architect, the president of the Heritage Foundation, on this network last month.
The organization in this plan talks about changing the Department of Health and Human Services to the Department of Life. Do you think that women in America should be able to get an if that is what their doctor says they need?
It's not health care. I find it really interesting, if not worse, that you wouldn't support the change of the department name to the Department of Life. I thought we were all in support of life. We believe eminently in women's rights, and particularly women's rights in the womb.
Women in the womb. That position is openly and proudly out of touch with what most Americans want, but that's sort of the point. Because Project 2025 is in many respects about power, about a right-wing vanguard minority forcing its fringe agenda onto the American voters by any means necessary. This is what we're going to go to do, and you can't stop us. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just listen to that same Heritage Foundation president on an episode of Steve Bannon's podcast yesterday, guest hosted by former Republican Congressman Dave Bratt, because Bannon is currently in prison.
Right.
We're in the process of taking this country back. The reason that they are apoplectic right now, the reason that so many anchors on MSNBC, for example, are losing their minds daily is because our side is winning. And so I come full circle in this response and just want to encourage you with some substance that we are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
What'd you say? Oh God, guys, this is a rough one, bro. He shouldn't be in charge of a single thing on this planet, guys. All right, he shouldn't be. Like, I understand. Like, listen, I will not back the concept of like deleting your baby, bro. I don't like that, right? But here's the thing here. Oh, nor do I appreciate it really thoroughly, right? I mean, I can imagine, having a kid, right, and then deleting my baby. I can't imagine that. That's wild, right? And so the thing about that is, right, that's me, right? I don't run that other person over there, guys. I personally do not run that person. But I do think that men should have a slight say, though, to be honest here, guys. I mean, if we're the ones that are going to end up being, paying child support and all types of alimony if things don't go adequately, I would definitely say that a man should have the slight ability or the ability to say, I don't want to be bothered with it, right? If that's the case, right? Make it equal if you want me to back it, at least, guys. But I don't know. There's something about his energy that's off, guys.
Right on. Thank you, brother.
I'm cool, buddy. We're in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. In other words, we won't be violent if you don't make us. They're not really bothering to veil their threats anymore. Project 2025 is a straight-up dictatorial fantasy of control over the American people. When they talk about revolution, taking the country back, what this means is that this small coterie of hard-right zealots, these really creepy weirdos, are going to exert total control over every aspect of your life in terms of what you look at and what you read, what you mail, what your healthcare is. That guy controlling your healthcare? Want that?
Nah, pass.
They're not trying to hide it.
Pass.
And everyone should know.
All right, guys. So this is what we're going to do on this one here. Based off of how this seems to be extremely polarized, right? We can go ahead and actually look at. I want to hear what the other side is kind of saying about this here, guys. Right? Because obviously, whatever we just listened to was pretty much heavily slanted. So let's see what the other side is saying. Is there anything that's out there kind of about it? I see CNN. CNN's gonna lean that conversation left. I don't think the right is talking about it at all, actually. Like, at all. And that's weird, guys. I'm honestly, I'm looking thoroughly here. Okay, hold on.
Friend there at the New York Post, A.G. Gankarski, he joins me. A.G., good to see you. Hope you had a good 4th of July.
We're not going to watch all of this, guys.
Here. I guess my first question, what do you hear when watching Biden there on the tarmac? What struck out to you? And also, how big is this ABC interview? How much is at stake?
Well, I'll take those questions in turn, Andrew, and thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, of course.
Regarding the first question, there was just way too much meta discourse in that. It was Biden talking about whether he can actually serve, whether he should be on a ticket, whether he has a succession plan. He took a page from Donald Trump's book, talked about some fake news,
Hold on.
saying the media, restrictions such as the ban
for years.
Here we go.
Very disciplined as of late because he hasn't said that much. He's been utterly silent. He's going to have some campaign rallies next week in Florida and Pennsylvania. He issued kind of a lengthy diatribe on 4th of July.
Okay, so Trump is like, okay, so basically this here. So the left is framing it as every single person is in agreement to what's being stated here, right? I refuse to believe that anyone that cares about the United States of America would kind of back 100% that, specifically if you care about the Constitution, right? The Constitution is what we live by, bro. So, and it seems like a lot of the things that were happening there were kind of leaning into royalty. Basically, you're making someone a king, right? You're making them a literal king, and then we're leaning into probably the exact definition of fascism, guys, right? Almost the exact definition of it.
Next week in Florida and Pennsylvania. He issued kind of a lengthy diatribe on 4th of July yesterday on Truth Social. He also issued this Truth Social post today as well on something that's known as Project 2025, and we're going to put up that Truth Social post, in just a moment. If we can go into what
Truth
is
Social?
Project 2025,
What is that?
AG?
Yeah, Project 2025, it's a policy book from the Heritage Foundation, the conservative think tank. There's all kinds of proposals in it, from phasing out the Department of Education to making the Justice Department more subject to the executive branch's whims. Restrictions such as the banning of a pill use for procedure. There's something for everybody in that. Making it easy.
Hold on, guys. All right, so Trump says, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. Wait, is the Heritage Foundation like extremely important out there, guys? Like, is it big on the right? Guys, keep this in mind. I don't live in echo chambers, guys, so I can see kind of both sides for kind of what they are. But either way, I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying. Some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. All right, because from what I've heard, it's absolutely wild so far. I mean, I'm sure there's craziness, more crazy things inside of it, guys. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them, is what Trump is saying.
Easier to fire people from federal employees. So these are big issues. But the understanding that I'm getting from Trump world, I've talked to a couple of senior advisors to the campaign today. And, regarding that tweet you've got on the screen, that advisor said that Trump speaks for himself with this, and he basically is not categorically accepting this Project 25 conservative wish list from Heritage. I'm hearing other things too, like, Heritage people might be out in the cold in the Trump administration. And this is something that, we learned in, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020, is that Donald Trump is not a doctrinaire conservative. When the pandemic happened, he spent heavily federally, suspended student loans, a lot of programs that distributed money to people for various reasons. He definitely ran up the debt. He didn't make moves to actually streamline government in a way that conservatives have wanted for decades, because a lot of these proposals that are being floated by Project 2025, they've been around since the 1980s.
Okay.
They're movement conservative gospel.
Sure.
And, the sense I get from Trump world is that they feel like Heritage and their allies were trying to hijack their campaign. That's winning in many polls. And, this Project 2025 messaging from Democrats is not new.
Okay.
Before the Atlanta debate, they projected QR codes, the Democrats did in Atlanta, basically on buildings, to say this is Project 2025, trying to yoke it to Trump. But, right now, with Trump in the best position he's been in his political career, he doesn't need this kind of distraction. He doesn't need to play to the hard right, because, he understands, and his advisors understand, that right now, Joe Biden's not going to get a lot of Republican crossover votes, and Vice President Kamala Harris wouldn't need.
Right.
So
neither of them are going to get any type of crossover votes here, guys. Let's just be honest here. What I see here, though, is if Trump was to be like, listen, yeah, I bet this represents everything I love, bro, he would not. He wouldn't be in a good place, right? Because if you're looking to get crossover votes from the other side, the last thing you want to do is say any of that publicly. Any of that. Like, I'm telling you, there's a large population of people who would hear some of the things that are being said and be like, yeah, nah, no way, we can't do that. That's just a reality, guys. What I see, at least. My overall opinion is, it sounds like, even though they're trying to ban, right, let's say the concept of viewing, how do you say this on YouTube, bro? Corn, right? Let's say corn, for example. If they're trying to ban it, right? But it sounds like that is purely corn for whoever subscribes to that ideology. So it feels like it looks like that. It sounds like it. It's absolutely odd, right? But either way, listen. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I mean, I try to be fair here, look at both sides of the situation, and it sounds like they're saying the same thing slightly. So it sounds like whoever that guy was that was talking, probably shouldn't be running anything, right? But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.